a lot of road projects are going to be executed. Because what the government actually wants to do is to open our state for investment. For example, what we want to do from Tawa to Onimo, what do you call it, Owerenta to Umueka, and the rest of the Enugu axis, that's something, that whole lot of things that we unfolded. I may not want to discuss that now.
Okay.
We want to ensure that Abia is just simply beautiful, it's simply unique. It's once you move from Enugu to Abia, you know you are coming into a new state. When you move from Imo to move from the other, from Rivers and others of that, you have come to the new Abia. So a whole lot of measures are being put in place to ensure that we sustain the tempo in infrastructural development in our state, because that's the best way, to encourage investors to come into the state. People who Abians who have not been in Abia since Colonel Lesotho has in office or since early last year came in, ask questions, do an opinion poll, you find out the reactions. People are very happy and excited. Look at the security situation throughout the Christmas. Look at the light up Abia policy. Go to Aba. Maybe I will have to take you to Aba. You spend the night there. We'll drive around Aba at night. So you just do a live video. There was one I did yesterday. I got to Aba. So that you will see. It's not a matter of what is written on the social media or what I'm saying. It's a matter of you going to carry out first-hand investigation and establish the truth on that.
Okay, so some communities, even during the Yuletide, are still in the dark because there are no power installation, or that the power installation there broke down completely. So people were still somewhere in Ohafia and some other parts of the country, of the states, and they complain that they need their light restored. Some have stayed for years, no electricity. I'm wondering, the Ministry of Power and Public Utilities, are they also aware of what's going on, or what will the government do in this regard?
The Ministry of Power, led by Mr. Ketchukumon, is very much, Engineer Ketchukumon, very much aware of that, and they're doing a lot. I'm sure you see the pictures or videos of the transformers they were, brought in by the government. And you know that these things are very expensive these days, and that is why we are preaching against vandalism. Of course, we have our electricity bill that has the House of Assembly very soon to be passed. I don't know if it has been passed, but it will be passed if it hasn't been passed, and the governor will sign it. And once that is done, it will become a criminal offense for you to indulge in any act of illegality, whether vandalism or whatever, to do with these facilities, because they are very, very expensive. We are aware that Ohafia, for example, you mentioned, has been in the dark for 4 years. Ohafia has been in the dark for 4 years. A part of our life where I come from has been in the dark for 2 years, and so measures are being put in place by the government to resolve the problem. These were problems that got aggravated over the years, and given the cost of these, the power equipment and all the rest of them, government is doing all it can to ensure that these problems are resolved. We are working, nobody's keeping quiet about it. The cost of cables, the transformers are very expensive to install them. It's not easy. So, but the most important thing, the process, like I said, the dozens of transformers were bought by the state government, and they are going to the communities. They're not going to government offices, or yes, there may be 1 or 2 places the government offices have need for them. They are just going to our communities, and it is to tackle this problem. So government is aware, and measures have been taken to resolve the problem.
Okay, so before I let you go, Ferdinand, because I know that you need to go back to ESCO meeting, but the issue of pension.
I don't have any ESCO today. I'm not having any ESCO.
Okay, so the issue of pension, is still there. It's becoming perennial, and it's not going away any moment soon. These people said that the governor, in fact, they are pleading with the governor to actually take a look at the issue of waiving off of that gratuity and other backlog and all that.
Okay, so this is new year. The whole thing will be looked into. It's always good that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. The worst thing you can do to anybody is to betray an agreement, betray a trust, or be part of an arrangement and turn around to lie about it. So, but we don't want to dwell in the past on what happened in the past. We just find a solution to the issue. But the most important thing, people must know that there are multiple problems by past governments, and we are not afraid to say that. And the government are pleased to confront these problems. You look at the situation with Abia for an example. For example, when we were saying they were being owed so a number of months, when we were in opposition, government said it was being abused. These people never accepted. it looked as if he was the one now driving false narrative. Today we can see how humongous the arrears are, and we are saying because we have multiple challenges, we have arrears 17%, about 18 billion, which the government is using to pay just salary arrears alone. I'm not talking about pension. We are aware of that. ABSU alone is 4 point something billion. ABSU. So imagine where you are putting that 4 point something billion in infrastructure. You can imagine the impact it will have on that institution. So that is the issue. There are multiple problems, and these problems were not created one day. People, through the act of recklessness in governance, incurred these liabilities. Yes, we know that government is a continuum. That it's incumbent on the present government to solve the problem, because it's a government that is popular, a government that has reputation, that has integrity, that made promises. Yes, but you should not rob Peter to pay Paul. You can't abandon a particular department or agency or ministry of government to concentrate on one. No, because your resources are limited. You also need to properly utilize them. You need to properly, share the resources to solve the issues, solve the problems. We are happy to be under pressure. We are happy to be confronted with these problems, and the governor is proving his mettle in providing solution to these issues. So the problem, it's important they know that you can't stop, because we are not interested in owing salaries. There may be one or two omissions out there affecting civil servants. Those who are affected, they must be paid. So we do not want a situation where the governor will finish his tenure and it will be said that he left salary arrears. He owed. No. So while we are trying to defray arrears of pension owed by former, governors or former governor, we also know that we have our own responsibility, because you can't abandon your own to take care of the problem and that person has left behind. We are taking care of them, but this one is the topmost priority, and that is what is happening, because we don't want to be tied down by a problem laid behind by another. We are solving it, and it's something that will be some of the problems that have not been resolved will take some time and they will be overcome. So we are on it. Nobody's going to keep quiet.
Maybe you can also reconsider the issue of BCA pensioners as well while you're trying to address all this, because it appears they have a peculiar problem.
Yes, I don't think it's only BCA. There were some institutions that were doing generate and pay. I'm sure you are aware of that. And BCA was one of them. Okay? Now, when you do generate and pay, the implication is that there is no sustainability. There is no institutional sustainability. It's just a matter of time before the place collapses. And it had collapsed. Now it was collapsed. It was gone. It was literally gone. So what we are doing is that process of recovery, process of restoration. The government now came and said there is nothing like generate and pay again. Because those who were generating were only taking care of themselves to a great extent. The institution, because it's not about you and I, it's about the state institution. For example, if somebody was the DG of BCA and you were scratching and managing, you generate, you were paying salaries, the pension, because the pension was not even properly structured. There's not even properly structured the way the institution will take care of itself. So it was just a matter of time. Then the government now say, because you people were doing generator pay, everything will be migrated. You will receive your subvention. Every kobo generated by place will go into government coffers. If we know that it cannot match, you can't compare it with whatever the responsibilities the government carries out in a month. But if you are an agency of government, you must be accountable to the government and not yourself. So the government is resolving the issue, and BCA pensioners will definitely begin to receive their pensions. I want you. That sustainability is very important. So sanitizing the place, you see, the system was to a great extent broken, and it takes a government and a governor that is very courageous, that very audacious, that is very determined, that is seeing beyond what you're seeing now, to take this very drastic action, confront the problem head on, and provide those who may be affected, in the meantime, will not be happy about it. It's natural. If I were that, I would also not be happy. So it's not just natural. It's not a matter of them not wanting to be happy. It's a matter of them being affected. And when you are affected, you are naturally unhappy. So the issue is being resolved, and people will begin to. It's not only BCA that is affected. There are a few others that are affected. I'm saying everybody. The thing has to be restructured. We have to have a central system that is well led to the same with the implementation of the treasury single account TSA. So we are overcoming it already.
Okay.